Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 286, New York Comic Con edition.
What?
I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's happening,
Hey
Mike?
there. Hey, folks. Hey, Chris. Got some ads this week or in the next coming week, so looking forward to that.
Next coming weeks. No ads this week.
Coming up, so we're becoming legit. So the more people that like us, the more we try to take your money. So watch out for those ads, folks. Well, we won't take your money. People give us money to try to take your money, and we have nothing to do with it. We're just the messengers. But
I mean, I will also take your money at Patreon.com.
I would also take
Fortress
your money
Comics
as well. Yeah. And someone else who would gladly take your money is on the show today. We're interviewing Mr. Chris Soloff from Homebrew Comics. We're going to talk about some comic books, and looking forward to that. Looking forward to a lot of things. I mean, it's New York Comic Con this weekend. As we're recording, wish I was there. I heard some rumors about Black Adam, about an after credits scene. I might talk about that a little bit. If you want to talk about that, I kind of want to talk about that.
I didn't see that one, so I'll be interested to see. Yeah, I'll say I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I was there too. Like former guests of the show were asking me if I was going to be there, if we were going to be there, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like just the way the world worked out this year, it didn't work out. Maybe next year. I'm really going to push next year to try to get to more cons.
Yeah, I mean, if we go to New York Comic Con next year, I feel like if we go to New York Comic Con next year, that's the only con I can go to, just because how exhausting it is of a con.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's so big.
I've got that, and I would like to go back to Terrificon. That was a blast. I think you would have a good time there too.
Yeah, I would definitely go to Terrificon. Set some dinners up with some folks. Drink a couple beers with some comic folks.
Oh, Mike, we would we'll plan it out, but we would be getting a hotel in the casino. We'd be living the high life.
Probably find our wayward Raven boys. Hit those guys up. Night on the town. Yeah. We'll talk to them about it.
I'll tell you, me and Kevin there, Tough Stuff creator, had a good time.
Good.
Hanging out, eating sushi or the seafood, having cigars. Being fat cats in the comics industry.
Nice. You're pretty much you're being kingpin for the night.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
Until I got COVID.
Yeah, until you got COVID. Well, it happens. And a little round of applause for Chris. He's been losing a lot of weight here, and I want to commend him for that. So good job, dude. Keep up with it. Not an easy feat, by all means. So damn, you're killing it, and I'm proud of you. And that's it. Okay, this is emotional I'll get when I'm not smoking weed. So.
I appreciate it. I really do.
That's all you get out of me. But no, when I smoke weed though, I cry like a baby at everything. So be glad.
I just sleep. So it's really no different from my normal state.
There's been a lot of movies where I just start bawling when I'm watching them, and like no reason at all. Like not even sad moments. Could be happy moments. But whatever. So let's just jump into it. We got some stuff to comb through here. Some cool stuff come from DC, but TV news. I saw a lot of costumes for Titans and Doom Patrol and stuff. There is a Doom Patrol season 4 trailer. Have not watched it yet. Have you watched that?
Oh yes, I did.
What do you think,
Mike? The next show I'm going to catch up on is Doom Patrol because in season 4, they're doing it.
They're doing it.
It's happening.
Wait, what do you mean?
When you watch this trailer, fucking Codpiece is in it.
No, he's not.
Live action Codpiece is in this trailer.
Oh my god.
There's a moment where a man shoots some sort of laser beam from his crotch, and if that is not Codpiece, I don't know who it is, but it's gotta be.
We need to be credited for this because we have not stopped talking about Codpiece. I think we need to email the writers of Doom Patrol.
listen, you saw the Harley Quinn reveal as well, right?
Yeah.
That codpiece is in that as well. How many years have we been talking about this character?
Yeah.
I mean, we got Rachel Pollack on the show. This has been at the forefront of the show forever, and it's happening.
Wow. I know it's happening.
So I am going to finally sit down and watch this show. It's been one of those shows I want to watch, but just with so much shit going on, I never get to it. It's now firmly on the docket of need to watch. So as soon as Andor ends, and I have more free time, it's what I'm jumping into next.
Yeah, I watched the first season, loved it. I'm gonna watch 2 through 4 for sure. When 4 comes out, I need to catch up for the COD piece alone. And yeah, I remember when we had Colin and man, I can't think of his
Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly.
Jackson and Colin on the show. They said their buddy plays Harry Trainer on the show, and that they were going to go talk to him about Codpiece. That was after their interview a long time ago. So we need to find out from those guys if they ever got the message through.
Yeah, I need confirmation. I will get confirmation. Yeah. I was just telling those guys that we need to talk again because there's more Cap news that we're going to talk about later.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars Andor Episode 5. I have not watched any of this. I'm going to wait till the end, and it's going to be the longest single Star Wars movie I'm going to watch in one sitting.
Yeah, it's still good. It's very espionage focused. I really like the Empire stuff. It's a really hard show to talk about without spoiling really completely because so much happens, even though it's not very action focused. But I love the character building here. I love what's going on. It's a very slow show, but I enjoy it immensely. It's like nothing else in Star Wars. So
yeah,
I really like it.
Awesome. Daredevil Episode 8 or She-Hulk maybe? Is this the finale?
No, there's one more episode.
Oh God.
So essentially the Daredevil parts of this. So everybody knows I'm not really a big fan of She-Hulk and what the show's been doing, but the Daredevil parts of this episode were really great. I like Matt Murdock in it. I like the costume. They tease you because there's a moment where they go and they're trying to save somebody and they are going to do a hallway fight. So Daredevil goes in, he beats up a few guys, and then like more come in and he poses and it sets up just like the Netflix Daredevil scene.
Nice.
Hallway scene. And then like She-Hulk just like falls in, takes them all out, and it ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, that's funny though that they did that.
It was cute that they did it. And then there's a great scene in court between Matt Murdock and She-Hulk. And then like at the end of the episode, they set up the big bad for the finale. Overall, good episode because I really like the Daredevil stuff. And I'll watch the finale. I've gotten this far. I might as well watch.
Yeah, you've gotten this far. You might as well finish it.
Yeah. And the big like the villain of this episode, the character that they're following is Leapfrog, which was also pretty fantastic because they did a comic accurate Leapfrog costume.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I forgot this came out. Werewolf by Night special. If you want to talk about this,
you haven't watched it yet.
No, I haven't. I've been watching another show I'm going to talk about in a second.
You're going to love it. It is all in black and white. It's very much an homage to classic like Universal monster horror movies. Down to like kind of purposely cheesy special effects. Basically the Elsa Bloodstone's father dies. They got to find a new monster hunter to lead like the monster hunters. So they hold a contest and Jack joins the contest under an assumed name to save the monster in question. I won't spoil who that monster is because it's really cool who the monster is. And then gets caught and found out that he's the werewolf by night and blah, blah, blah. But it's very quick. It's like 45 minutes, basically an episode of a TV show, but done almost as like a made for TV movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not like it sets up a lot of really cool characters. It sets up a lot of the like horror, monster part of the MCU of the Marvel universe, because it shows vampires and the Wendigo and all these other things through different parts of the show. So
Cool.
good. I think you'll really enjoy it for like the classic horror stuff, and yeah, I recommend it.
I decided to sit down and watch Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, so that was my movie this weekend.
That was a much wiser choice.
Yeah, it's on HBO. If anybody cares, besides me, yeah.
I think it's all on like HBO Max, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's weird. They like swap out which ones they have, which ones they don't. I don't remember Mechagodzilla being on there. The crazy thing about Mechagodzilla is it deals a lot more with the aliens that bring Mechagodzilla to Earth. And like at the end, they get revealed like some awful Twilight Zone episode, where their faces almost look like they're wearing like gorilla costumes. And there's some horror aspect to it. It's like, wow, it's pretty freakish and like creepy. So, very fitting to watch in October. So,
yeah, isn't it Mechagodzilla 2 where it's like the Americans bring them back from the future of 1993?
Yeah, it's weird. It gets
that was
weird,
my
man.
favorite version.
Yeah, and there's always some like lady singing like in this one, and she brings out like this caveman monster who fights with Godzilla. But there's a lot of freaking blood in this. And this compared to like the guy in the rubber suit playing Godzilla, like he gets like hit in the neck and blood starts like splurting out of like a hose spraying out of Godzilla's neck, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, and this movie's rated G or PG or something. I'm like, no way. I also watched last week, as I do every year in October, Army of Darkness, because you all know I'm an Evil Dead fan. So, but something more relevant that I've watched on Netflix, TV show, big horror fan, big Mike Flanagan fan. If anybody's out there watching those shows, Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, and now we have Midnight Club. This is a great... So, you know, there's always horror aspects of Mike Flanagan stuff. He writes these books, and then there's shows on Netflix. He does such a great job of writing characters. And the premise for this one is it's a group of teens, and they're in basically a hospice care. They're dying of some disease. They go to a hospice care, and they pretty much don't give a shit. So it takes place in the 90s, Chris. Super nostalgic. So it's like the music is nostalgic. You don't have the stupid shit with the cell phones. Like, that's all gone, which I like, you know?
Yeah.
But they tell each other scary stories, and it literally reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon? I think it was Nickelodeon, where everybody's sitting around the campfire and telling scary stories. So it's a horror anthology. So these teens that are dying, that almost aren't afraid of anything because, you know, they're staring death in the face, are telling each other scary stories to try to creep each other out, while creepy things are also happening in the house that they're staying in. I think it's really good. I'm 4 episodes in. The writing's fantastic. The character development's really good. I think you would enjoy this one. And the first episode, I will tell everybody this, there's a lot of jump scares in it. And it's not because the show is all jump scares. It's because Mike Flanagan is making fun of the fact that people, like horror writers, are very cheesy, and like he thinks it's like a really cheap thing to just put jump scares and everything. So like in the first episode, like one of the girls is telling a jump scare story to, you know, the people in the house, and like at one point, because they do the reenactment obviously, so they cut to a different story that they're telling, and like first like the jump scare happens to the kid, and then he keeps like turning every direction, and it's like jump scare, and then it just becomes like comical. You start like laughing at some point, and then like really there's no more jump scare after that. Like he does a lot of good things where like he'll have something like behind somebody in a hallway, but it's never like loud noise in your face. He does a really good thing of having like a creepy visual. He'll pan to it a couple times, but it's not like in your face like loud noises. Yeah, he does some really cool things with the horror aspect, and it's really good stuff. So Midnight Club, check it out.
I'll say I started watching the other day that Dahmer show on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've only gotten a couple episodes in, but like, dude, that show is purposely, like, the scenes are purposely drawn out to be awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's almost like each episode is like only a handful of scenes, but just the way they're shot and done, they're meant to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll talk about that a little bit. I know the show's out, and Evan Peters, amazing actor. I probably won't watch that show just because there's like, I like okay, you might get me to watch documentaries about serial killers, but there's just something about like, I might get a lot of shit for this. No, I wouldn't say like romanticizing a serial killer, but like putting them in the limelight in like these shows, you know what I mean? And making it like, and getting into like the details and showing like him doing all the shit to people. I don't personally care for that. And I kind of had the same problem with that show. I watched first couple seasons, and they're like, this guy's a serial killer, and you're not supposed to root for him, to the point where the main actor is telling his fans, no, like, you shouldn't be rooting for me. But I mean, it's like, you put this really good looking guy in a primary role, like, of course people are gonna like, sympathize with him. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get myself to watch it. I think it's a little too creepy for me.
Yeah, I can understand how you or anyone else would feel that way. I'll say this: it doesn't. It's not like you sit there and watch him like start to dismember people,
right?
But like, so there's some backstory of like when he was a kid and some of the stuff. A lot of it's like conversation. Like, there's a scene with his father where they're explaining like everything he did to his father. And like the first episode starts off with the last person he tried to abduct, and when he gets arrested. Okay. And then it tells it through the investigation and kind of him telling backstories. And it usually gets to the point where we're like, it's about to happen.
Yep.
Or like in one of them, he almost gets caught because basically the cops come. Yeah. And then they look around his house and he's got like one of the bodies under his bed.
Oh my God.
And like it tells those moments a lot. And then it kind of explains like, at one point you see he opens his fridge and there's a head down there.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it's really messed up. It's really uncomfortable. I personally, like, for some reason, I get attracted to that.
Oh yeah, it's super popular too. Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but yeah.
I understand how people feel the way you do though. It's also it's been what, 40 years?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah.
I'll say if people like that kind of stuff, I enjoyed what I've watched so far, and I'll talk more about it later when I'm finished.
Maybe if it was just like the killing people, like but then the eating thing, just I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Dude, the awkward part's like he goes to a bar and like goes and picks up a dude, and everybody knows Dahmer was gay, so he was picking up men, and then those were his victims. And like brings them to the house and then tries to drug them, and then they're like sitting there and, like, it's just it doesn't matter sexual orientation. It's just the whole thing of like two people together and like one guy just thinks he's gonna have a good time, and then like it just turns into and there's no cuts, there's straight like scenes played out. It's really really fucking uncomfortable. Yeah, that's why it's kind of hard to binge. It's kind of surprising it's a Netflix show of all things.
Yeah, it's like a slow burn. Yeah,
because I can only watch one episode at a time before I'm like, okay, like I need Seinfeld now, so I can like have a palate cleanser.
Yeah, so I haven't watched Friday's episode of Lord of the Rings, or Rings of Power, but I will say the prior week's episode was fucking phenomenal. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of mention of Sauron. And it's a big battle with like townspeople and orcs and elves fighting. It was awesome. It was really cool. Some really cool stuff was happening. So I'm really loving that show. Hot D, House of the Dragon, really good. New episode tonight because it is Sunday when we record. This show is just taken off completely. It's insane. Really depressing. There's some really depressing shit happening with characters. I don't want to spoil too much for people. You just got to go watch it. The characters are amazing. Both these shows are really good. I'm a huge fantasy nerd, so I'm loving that.
I heard there was a huge drop off because of the time jump.
Oh, really? That's
like in viewership. Yeah, like people were really pissed off about that apparently.
Which that had to happen though, because like, I will say this though, for someone like me who like, obviously I have my partner there to explain like everything that's going on with the whole the whole map of the family tree of everybody. But if I didn't have her there, like I personally wouldn't know what the hell is going on, because like every episode they're just casually like, oh yeah, a few years has gone by, a couple years has gone by, and then this episode was a big, or the last episode was a big time jump where they changed some of the, I think they might have changed only one. Yeah, they only changed the youngest actor or actress, or her and her friend, who's the queen. They changed them, but a lot of the people that are older, they didn't change the actual actors that play them. So like that was a little confusing. And then I got confused because there's like two knights that look the same with long hair, and I thought one was older, one was younger, but then they brought the younger guy back, so I was a little confused about that shit. I can see where it gets a little confusing.
I thought, as someone who didn't like the original series, I thought it was a little confusing that people were so upset about it, because I'm like, you know what the storytelling is here. Like,
Right.
it took us how many seasons to figure out that Jon Snow was the main character?
Yeah.
Because they kept tricking you with like, this is the main character, and then killing them.
Right.
And I'm like, you watched how many seasons of the original? You didn't understand that this is what the game that they play with this show.
But I will say, there was a couple great things the last episode. A lot of fucking dragon riding, which was sick. One of the biggest dragons, like this thing was massive. We finally got to see like the whole size of him, and like one of the kids riding them. And then because all the royalties' children are older, they're all like 14 through like 16. They like are getting in fights with each other because they hate each other. So like there's a whole like scene where they're like, one pulls a knife on the other one and they start fighting. It's really fucked up. So the show is crazy. I'm really enjoying it. So like the time jump stuff, yeah, you can get over it. Like, just don't be a ninny about it. Long story short,
or be a ninny. It's your time.
Or be yeah. And I think that's it. I will say this: I did see Craig Robinson this weekend. Who's if you know Craig Robinson, he's Daryl from The Office.
Yeah,
runs the shipping. So I went and saw him. He's at Funny Bone this weekend near us, and he pretty much just sits there with a piano and plays music and has people sing along and tells like dirty jokes. It was pretty great. And I guess he has a show on Peacock. It's going on its second season, so I might have to check that out. Yeah. So, but other than that, let's hop to this interview with Chris Soloff, and we'll see everybody on the other side.
And we're back.
We're back for all the New York Comic Con comic book news.
So behind the scenes, everybody, I write down timestamps as we're going, and I don't know if you know how seconds and minutes work, but there's 60 seconds in a minute, right? So I wrote one of the timestamps down as 22 minutes 60 seconds.
Wow.
That's how my brain's working right now. Go ahead.
It's just because you don't want to write the number 23. You went all Jim Carrey on it.
Yeah.
You're avoiding the number. Let's get to my favorite part, the DC comic news.
All right, I'll sleep through this part.
Dude, come on. What do you... So, basically, Superman. And I'll talk off air to you about this after credits scene thing from Black Adam. But DC has announced their next crossover series called Lazarus Planet. This series is said to spin out of the events of Batman vs. Robin and will consist of 7 one-shot published weekly. Oh, God. One-shot titles published weekly starting in February 2023. I mean, the only upside to it is, come on, who's writing it? Lazarus Planet will be run by Mark Waid with help from Ricardo Federici, Jean Lun Yang, Billy Tan, Nicole Maines, Skylar Patridge, sorry, she was on the show. Francis Manapul, Dan Waters, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Josie Campbell. Okay, we got some talent working on this. I will probably check them out. Huge Mark Waid fan. I don't think Batman vs. Robin, the first issue, was terrible, so here I am.
I was going to skip Batman vs. Robin.
Yeah.
Thinking it was just like a throwaway, like, whatever thing. And I went and bought the first issue. I know the second issue comes out next week, so I guess I'm reading it now.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I
don't know. I like event stuff, but I do like that. What's the Monkey Prince is in this too. So
Yeah, Gene Lin Yang with Monkey Prince. I'm really pumped to see this.
yeah.
It's all has to do with the Devil Neza thing, so I'm sure. As part of Milestone's 30th anniversary, Static Shock will be crossing over with Batman Beyond. Damn, titled Milestone 30th Anniversary Special 1. It'll feature short stories from different teams across different characters. The story will be written and drawn by Nicholas Draper Ivy. I have no idea who that is, but I am super pumped to see Batman Beyond and Static Shock crossover.
So my only experience with Static Shock, I should probably put this out there because my only experience is the TV show, and I did not care for the TV show.
Oh, I love the TV show.
So that's where kind of my negative from Milestone comes from. I've had this thought recently because I noticed they'd like publish the old Milestone and compendiums.
Yep.
And I was thinking about going back and checking it out. That being said, when I first saw this, I was like, "Oh, Static Shock!" Like, I mean, I got to buy this now because it's Batman Beyond, but
yeah, I think it's a cool concept.
So I'll take it. I mean, they come out of the same vein. Like it was this time at DC Animation where we want teenage superheroes. So let's make a teenage Batman, and that became Batman Beyond. And then Static Shock came out of that. So I mean, they come from the same world creatively.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense. But I'll be picking it up and checking it out.
This one's pretty interesting. Harley Quinn is getting a new limited 6-issue series March 2023 called Multiversity. Harley Quinn screws up the DC Cinematic Universe.
Just the DCU.
DCU, sorry. Not DCU Cinematic. I just say that. The series will be written by Frank Thierry with art by Logan Farber. I'll probably read this. I know this is like the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe kind of thing, but you got Multiversity in there. I know it's Harley Quinn, whatever, but I do love me some multiverse shit, so...
Yeah, it reminded me heavy of Deadpool kills Marvel Universe or Squirrel Girl beats up the Marvel Universe.
But I really like those series, so I think they're fun, so I'll probably check this out.
So do I. That's why I'm like, this will be fun. I still don't know if I'll pick it up, though. But the Multiversity banner for it was interesting. I thought. I was shocked to see them throw that on top of this, but... Yeah. Good for Frank, too. I like Frank Terry's work. He did some cool Marvel stuff with like Black Knight.
Terry's really good. Yeah. This is... Okay, so there's a lot of Superman shit going on, but there's a silver lining in there, and I want to talk about that. DC has announced a new shakeup for the Superman line starting in January. First up, Superman Son of Kal-El will end with issue 18. A new 6-issue limited series from the same creative team will take on a spot called Adventures of Superman John Kent. Okay, you're thinking, whatever, this could be interesting.
So just to jump in there, I know I'm not reading the John Kent stuff because I don't care, but I think I wish that this was the ongoing.
Yep.
Like, I wish there was 3 ongoings because to give John his own book and then Clark his own book, and say like, hey, Adventures of Superman is John, Superman is Clark, because Adventures of Superman's an old title,
right?
Is a really cool way to like continue that, and then let like John fans keep having their book as opposed to what we'll talk about with the Superman book.
Well, let me talk about Adventures of Superman John Kent, because I don't know if you saw what they're doing with that, because I stopped reading the John Kent stuff. It wasn't really for me, but now they're talking about Ultraman will be the villain for this run. And Val Zod will be with John Kent, Earth 2 Superman.
Which I'm intrigued by.
Yeah.
Because I really, really liked that Earth 2 book.
Yep. I really liked the Earth 2 book, and I really liked because Ultraman was torturing John Kent for a while.
Okay. I just to throw it out there, I really liked that Earth 2 book. And I figured with how they were restructuring things with the JSA coming back, that Earth 2 was no longer a thing. Or would be a different Earth now.
Yep.
Because you want JSA to be Earth 2, I thought. Right. But maybe they're going to be Earth 1. So that does intrigue me because that book is criminally underrated.
Yeah.
Even the weekly, when it was Earth 2, what was it?
Society.
No, remember when they were doing all the weekly books and they had that Batman Eternal book?
Yeah.
And it was like World's End or something like that.
At World's End. Yeah.
Like even that book was good. Like, yeah. So
Valzad and Ultraman. You know, Crime Syndicate's my favorite lineup for villains. So I'll be loving that.
Yeah.
Then Action Comics will now publish 3 stories per issue, starting with 1050. With writer Philip Kennedy Johnson, artist Rafa Sandoval. So that's pretty interesting. 3 stories per issue. It's kind of crazy. So you got that lineup with Clark Kent story, writer Leah Williams, and artist Marguerite Savage doing a Power Girl story, and then writer Dan Jurgens and artist Lee Weeks doing an arc that follows the story from the Death of Superman special. That's pretty crazy. Got a lot going on in one book.
Yeah, and I really like Power Girl as a character.
Yeah.
And like that Earth 2 Power Girl stuff, and it seems like that's connecting into the JSA stuff.
Yep.
So I might be back on the Superman bandwagon here soon.
Yeah, me too. I might be picking up a lot of these books. And then finally, the main Superman title will start with a new #1 in February, writer Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell. I'm probably on board for this.
Yeah.
and yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is where my previous comment comes in, because this is going to be Clark and John fighting Lex. And it's like, okay, they team up, whatever. That's where I kind of wish there was an ongoing for John, ongoing for Clark. And maybe they cross over here and there, because, I mean, they are father and son. But give them their own book, and then kind of bring them together down the line, as opposed to like Superman, and it's 2 Supermen. But it's Joshua Williamson, so...
Yeah, you got Josh Williamson, you got Philip Kennedy Johnson in here. And you also, they did focus, they had this whole cover of like the Superman family. They're really getting into the whole Superman family of characters, kind of like Batman, the Bat family, right? So I think it's a pretty cool concept. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes.
I am very interested to see where this all goes.
Yeah. Joe Cassida, longtime Marvel artist, editor-in-chief. He took the New York Comic Con stage with Jim Lee to announce that he'll be doing covers for upcoming DC titles starting 2023. All right, slap in the face to Marvel. The first title to get covers of Marvel Comics Legend will be Batman 130 and 131. We'll probably have to pick that up. I don't know. Is that the first ever Batman cover by Joe Cassida?
No. He did Batman stuff like
a long time ago,
80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Before he worked at Marvel, but he's just so well known as the Marvel guy. Obviously, I'm a huge Joe Quesada fan. Everybody should read that Daredevil run he did with Kevin Smith.
Yep.
And DC's end. You're right. This is a giant slap in the face to Marvel.
Yeah.
I love Joe as an artist. I hope he does some interior stuff. Not necessarily DC, although if he did DC, I'd be fucking down for that too.
Yeah.
But this is a good first step post his Marvel career. So
I mean, I have no doubt he's going to be doing some DC stuff, whether he has a hand in guiding, like editor again. But I think when you go to New York Comic Con, and with kind of how recent all this happened, this is probably the only thing they can really talk about. Like, he can do covers. That's pretty easy. You throw him on some covers for a couple issues.
You'll see if there's like I don't know if there's a special issue coming out for anything, but if there is, like a 500 or whatever the DC does for their big number books, I could see him doing a story, like a 4 or 8 pager. I don't see him jumping on an ongoing, unless it's creator owned.
Yep. And then lastly for DC, they're adding a new tier for the digital platform DC Universe Infinite. And with new rewards, add this new tier called Ultra Tier. It'll be available late November. You can get it for discounted rate now. New tier will give you DC Comics 1 month after release, as opposed to 6 months after. Members will get a yearly gift for their membership. For the first membership, gift members will get an exclusive Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition softcover and an exclusive Ivan Race cover for free. Also, the service added thousands of comics and graphic novels from DC, Mad Magazine, and Vertigo Comics for all its members this week. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it brings it more in line. Actually, brings it to be better than Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
But the price is in line. The fact that there's a yearly thing is in line.
Yeah.
It's the 1 month after release that I was kind of intrigued by.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, let's get to the Marvel. Before we talk Marvel, I did see this whole timeline of events that are going to be going on for the next year, and it was like, holy shit, guys! Like, let's do one at a time here. You know.
So Feige is now like in control of Marvel altogether.
Yeah.
Like he's still mostly a movie guy, but like his influence is over Marvel. So like, they started doing this last year, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when they announced Feige coming in. I'm like, this is a Feige thing. They want a timeline for the stories, and that's
It's basically like all the miniseries you'll be picking up. Marvel released its comic timeline for the end of 2022 into 2023. Some of the events coming we know about already, like Avengers Assemble, Jason Aaron's Avengers finale, Dark Web, Sins of Sinister, and Captain America Cold War. But 2 new events were announced for summer 2023. They're titled Summer of the Symbiotes and Fall of X. Little was said about the events other than the obvious that they're Spider-Man symbiote and X-Men related. We'll see.
I don't have much to add. I mean,
I like symbiotes. Maybe Donnie will come back to do some symbiote shit. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. I mean, he's kind of said like he made his mark and he wants to move on, but we'll see.
X-Men are getting some new titles for 2023. Shocked Pikachu for sure on this. Surprise Pikachu. First up is X-23, who's getting her own limited series called X-23 Deadly Regenesis. This 5-issue series will be written by Erica Schultz, art by Edgar Salazar, and seeing Laura Kinney no longer using the Wolverine mantle and going back to her original mantle of X-23. So, yeah, for a while she was actually Wolverine, and now she's going to be going back.
Yeah. X-23 fans are happy. I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
Yeah.
Next is the return of fan favorite X-couple, a new series called Rogan Gambit. Oh, shit. This 5-issue series will be written by Teenie Howard, and art by Carlos Gomez. That's pretty cool.
I like Teenie. I liked when Rogan Gambit were on the Excalibur team.
Yep.
I'm not going to pick this up. But people were really excited about that.
And finally, another 5-issue series titled Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, written by Teenie Howard and art by Vasco Georgiev. Huh? Picking this one up?
This one I'll pick up.
Yeah, you love some Captain Britain.
Yeah, going back to the Excalibur, I like Betsy as Captain Britain. I like what they're doing there. Teenie did a great job with it, and I love Captain Britain and that whole mythos. So it's only 5 issues, but I mean, 5 is better than 0.
During the Marvel New York Comic Con panel, publisher confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy are returning to print in spring of 2023. That we would see more info coming from the following months. Yeah, give us the Guardians. Where the hell have they been? Come on.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a movie coming out too.
Yeah. Hey,
but
it's
I do like me some Guardians, so I'm done.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not like they're doing a. I don't even want to. I'm not going to down talk any characters. Blade's daughter, Bloodline. Yeah, it's not like getting a Bloodline book. We'll be getting our own 5-issue series February 20. Thanks, Marvel. I didn't even have to bring up an example. You did it for me. February 2023. This series will be written by Danny Lauren, art by Karen S. Darbo. The series will be called Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, and will follow her as she starts to develop her vampiric powers. Now, I will not be surprised if after the Blade movie, we get a Disney Plus series called Bloodline about Blade's daughter. I really will not be surprised.
100%. I don't even know. They introduced her in like some free comic book day issue, and everybody's like, when's this going to be a thing? And I'm like, I read it and just sat there like, it's okay. It's just female Blade. Like, I guess if you want female Blade, like if you're a woman who wants that character or whatever, like cool, but I didn't see anything all that like shocking or new and interesting. Can I
just get a Blade ongoing book? Like,
I mean, that would be nice too. Yeah.
How about we start there with the character getting his on at least a miniseries or ongoing. But no, we're getting a Silver Surfer miniseries, 5 issues, February 2023, called Silver Surfer: Ghost of Light, written by John Lemmings, art by Valentin Delandro. Introduced new cosmic character, Ghost Light. Interesting.
I'm not much of a Silver Surfer fan. I don't know about you, but
no, not really.
I know a few people who are really excited about this.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Marvel and Viz Media have announced another team up for some new manga published in summer 2023. The 3 titles are as follows: Wolverine Snicked by writer-artist Tsutomu Nihei, who is best known for his series Blame. Spider-Man Fake Red by writer-artist Yusuke Osawa, who is best known for his series Green Worlds. And finally, Marvel Comics, a manga tribute, which is an anthology-style book with over 20 Japanese creators using characters across the Marvel universe. I think those all sound pretty cool. I like this when they do this crossover. I think it's a really cool idea.
I do as well. They've announced this, like, this is the second or third time they've done this, and I'm always like, this is really cool. I'm like, I'm down to support this, and then just poof, and the characters they choose, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The comic tribute I'll probably buy, just to throw support to this initiative, and because it actually might be like different stuff. But like, we get it. Wolverine spent time in Japan.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like your most popular character, but I would just wish they would find like another character to do other than Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man.
Yeah, agreed.
But we'll see. I might check out the Spider-Man one. There's 0 chance I check out the Wolverine one. But it's a cool announcement.
Yeah, I think it is. With that, let's talk about what we read this week. There you go. That's some comics. I had some comics too, Chris. Shirtless Bear Fighter #2, Jody Lehup, Vendrell on the art. This book's a lot of fun if you're not reading Shirtless Bear Fighter. The FBI starts employing like this guy to make new R&D weapons. And then Shirtless Bear Fighter is losing his way, so he goes back to his roots where he was trained in Japan, and his master is not Mr. Miyagi, it's bee Yagi, because it's a bee, everybody. It's a tiny bee, because, bears love honey, whatever. So he needs to go to the top of the mountain to find the truth about his human parents, and while the bears in the woods have made like an evil version, like an evil clone of him. So it's a pretty cool story so far. Radiant Black 18, Higgins Holmes. I know you read this. I thought it was interesting, all about the Yellow Radiant. We get his origin and like why he can travel through time or see time, and why he's motivated to do the things he is. Berserker 10. This is Keanu Reeves, Matt Kint, and Garney on the art. I don't know what the hell's going on in this book anymore. I don't know if I missed an issue somewhere, but like something's going on, and it's just really confusing. I'm really struggling to see like a lot of the characters' motivations. I feel like this book would be better read as a trade, so I might just drop it and just pick it up when it's like a completed series. And also the inconsistencies with when it gets released doesn't really help. That really takes me out of the story. But I mean, nonetheless, if you like action and stuff and being confused, check it out. Rogue Sun 7, Ryan Perot, Cotton, and Angulo. I like this. We get Rogue Sun. He meets a weird villain, someone claiming to be a guide for him for the future. It was like a turn-the-page adventure story, so that was kind of fun. But I got stuck in a time loop in the book. I don't know if you did too. It didn't really work for me, or maybe I just read the directions wrong. But it was a fun.
I'm like an issue or two behind on this. But
okay. So this is like a turn-the-page adventure. Like, make a decision. Basically, the guy like controls time and is like keeps putting him back in a loop. And then I think he's going to be like a villain or something moving forward. So that was an interesting issue. Dark Crisis, The Deadly Green, by Ram V and a bunch of others. This takes place before Dark Crisis of Infinite Earths 5. The Justice League Dark team has found a way to go into the Great Darkness to kind of find out the origin. So they do this crazy comic book science bullshit where they take Alan Scott's ring and they get his son Obsidian to create like a darkness in him, and then everybody jumps in Alan Scott's ring because he can create constructs. So he starts creating constructs of like things that are happening. And while Swamp Thing and Superboy, I will say Superboy, I won't say Superman, I refuse, are in there, they combine. So like Swamp Thing gives him like armor to kind of like not get lost in the darkness. And they find the Pariah's old machine from Crisis on Infinite Earths that he used to bring all the Earths back together. And that's what they rip out of there. And then we see that brought back into the Crisis on Infinite Earths issue. So pretty interesting. I love Alan Scott, and I thought it was some cool shit going on with Swamp Thing. So Monkey Prince number 7. This is Gene Luen Yang and Chang on the art. They find his magical staff because the Monkey King had a magical staff that like extends infinitely, and apparently it's stuck in Dragon Town, which is part of Atlantis, which is pretty funny, I think.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's part of Atlantis, don't question it. And Monkey Prince sets up a fight with Aquaman at the end of the issue because he calls him a villain. He gets like all upset about that. But I thought it was cool interactions between Aquaman, Monkey King, and like the people of Dragontown expect to see Monkey King, but he's actually Monkey Prince. So they're a little confused by that.
Yeah, I really like that issue.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Yeah. Batman 128, Chip Zdarsky and Jimenez on the art. This is a pretty cool issue. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Batman gets Soups away from Failsafe because Failsafe's like Batman got the shit beat out of him. Superman shows up and gets kryptonite stuck in him. So they're both pretty rough. He gets Superman away, but he like falls into water like while he's flying Superman away, so he doesn't get killed. And then we get a 2-week time jump where Failsafe has taken over Gotham completely. So that was pretty interesting. Like, what is he going to do now that Gotham's taken over by Failsafe? And the second story is about him, how he was planning the whole Zur-En-Arrh initiative, and that Joker was messing with him. So they both were kind of like not, almost like they're in sync of like, Batman's not in he's in a weird mind, a weird headspace, and so is Joker. So like things were almost like they're connected or something. I really liked it. I really like this. I think I like the second story more than the first one.
I like in the A story how he decides he has to leave Robin and Superman so that the Failsafe doesn't come after him, and he falls in the ocean, and he trusts that Aquaman's going to get him, and that's where he goes to like recuperate. I really like that sequence.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I did like that too.
And I like in the Zur-En-Arrh story how they switched the art, so when they show like the Zur-En-Arrh stuff, it looks like a 50s, 60s Batman comic.
Yep.
Yeah, like awesome. I love this book. Yeah,
that was really cool. Last book I had, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 5, Joshua Williamson, Sam Fear on the art. Pretty good issue. Black Adam gets saved from fighting the Legion of Doom. All of the Legion of Doom is infected with the Great Darkness. Justice League is aware of it because, like I said in the Swamp Thing issue, they know what's going on. Pariah talks about bringing the Infinite Earths back, while Flash and Green Lantern are going through these small Earths created, universes created without the Justice League heroes. They get Batman out of his trance, and the Justice League breaks out of the worlds, but they're too late. Pariah arrives to Earth Zero, the main Earth, with the darkness to claim the rest of the heroes that are stuck on Earth still. Earth Zero. And he's got, this whole splash page with all the villains that are all possessed by the darkness. So I think the big fight's coming up, and hopefully the big resolve of, like, where is all this going? I'd like to see that.
Yeah, everything you said, I love it. I love that last splash page. All those, not just villains, like big bads.
Big bads,
Characters that can be their own event.
Yeah.
And then also when Black Adam comes back and he's like, I told you you're not good enough to be the Justice League or whatever. And then Nightwing just goes, "Yeah, we're the Teen Titans," and just
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that was the perfect way to handle that moment." I love that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that
Is
was
that
really
everything you
good.
had?
That's all. Yeah, that's all I had this week. There's some stuff I'm still behind on, but
Ant-Man number 4. I'll say the series was kind of meh to me. I was not
okay.
that thrilled. Although we do get All-Father Ultron, which was interesting. Minor Threats number 2, the Patton Oswalt book. Another great issue. We get into the mind of this other character who's like a puzzle. He solves puzzles, and he's like a super
Okay.
genius. So they try to track down the Batman character, and they go to this club where all the supervillains hang out, and they end up leading him to this club where that character just like beats up all the villains. Another really great issue. I like the shitty villains trying to get back at the Batman character vibe of this.
Yeah, I like that. I'm behind on that book.
New America number 3. This is the last issue of the first arc, and basically, like, we find out the backstory of why the lead character is like helping the FBI. He's being extorted. It's like his wife is being held. So the new American president sends out forces to get her. They get her back, but it aggravates old America and starts a whole geopolitical problem. And the president's being extorted to quit. So he comes out and is just like, listen, this tells everybody this is what I did, and blah, 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 and then decides to hold a new special election to see if people think that he should step down. I really like this book, even if it's super science fiction with a political figure taking responsibility. But it's still really good, like kind of geopolitical stuff involving a hypothetical future where America splits up. I was shocked you didn't read this, Junkyard Joe, number 1.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet.
It's really good. It's just like a war comic with a robot in it. Like,
nice.
I like the twist at the end. I thought I read this as a one shot. I really hope it's not, because the way it ends has a very interesting twist to it that could be cool for future issues. The Deadly Lucky number 3, which is another one of the Radiant Black books. Really started to like this book. Like I said, it's a lot about this character who's going through PTSD because she's a Iraq vet and then gets these powers, and kind of dealing with that while at the same time dealing with this corporation that's trying to turn San Francisco into a mega city run by the corporation. And there's a lot of mechs in it, Mike. So
nice.
I caught up on Magic the Gathering, so I've got Magic the Gathering number 19 here. Are you still reading Magic?
No, I had to drop that for some other books. I got behind.
Maybe it's because I got so behind and I read like 15 issues in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I really like this book.
Okay, I'll have to get back into it.
You still play, right?
No, I don't. I have some cards. I sold a lot of my cards, but I still have some decks. I haven't had time, or I don't really have any friends around here that play.
So yeah, I don't play either, and I like the connection to this world that I like know about and getting the stories here. So it's a cool like multiverse fantasy kind of book. I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
It's not like the greatest book ever, but
it's still fun to see all those. Oh, I recognize that.
Yeah, it's almost how I feel about I don't talk about Star Wars on here, but how I feel with Star Wars books, where like I'm not going to say they're the greatest thing ever, but I just enjoy a familiar universe that I'm connected to strongly, and that's how I feel about that.
You described exactly the Rings of Power show.
Yeah, that's why I understand what people are said about that, and I'm not, because I'm not connected to that.
Right.
All new, all different Savage Avengers in 2099 number 6. This is a really fun issue. It's all those characters minus Conan, because we had Conan get a send-off last issue. Coming to 2099, and they end up teaming up with Punisher 2099. And we find out, so Black Knight gets the Cosmic Steed back in this. Anti-Venom ends up driving the Spider Buggy in this. And it's giant spoiler alert, but the big bad in 2099 is Ultron. So it was a lot of like things that I like coming together. You could tell it was kind of a fan doing his almost fan fiction. Which was really good. Hulk number 9, the beginning of Hulk Planet. Not a ton happened in this book, but it was nice to see Donnie and Otley back.
Yep.
But basically, like, it shows kind of the inner how the ship, Hulk ship works, and how Banner had split his subconscious to run it. And then we land on this planet that's gamma powered. Like, the whole surface is covered in gamma radiation. And when we get there, there's a giant statue to Hulk, and he's never been here before. So the warlord or queen or whoever she is ends up greeting him and telling him, like, saying welcome home, and he's very confused. But it's an interesting start to a new storyline. Earthdivers Kill Columbus number 1. This was the book about people going back in time to kill Columbus. And basically it's 2120 or 2112 is the year. Global warming's taking over, like, shit's bad, and the thesis of these people is that it's America's fault. That's about as political as the book gets. And then past that, they find a special magical cave that sends them back in time. So they decided to go back in time and kill Christopher Columbus by trying to sneak onto his ship and be a part of his crew. It was really good. There's a lot of this character trying to fit in with everything back then, and had a really cool cliffhanger ending. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
And my final thing, Mike, is Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 5, the issue that I'm supposed to be really mad at. So Cap and Bucky go and find the base of this organization and attack it, and we end up finding out that they're like a bunch of people who have been pulling the strings of everybody and kind of moving things along. It also connects into what Bucky had found during Devil's Reign, where somebody was kind of directing his life in a direction that led him to Winter Soldier. And we get to this character who's just called the Revolution, and they have a confrontation with him after saving a bunch of people in the base. And I'm going to spoil the fuck out of this, so you've all been warned. They have a confrontation. Bucky's just wants to kill him and end it. And of course, Cap doesn't want that. And so Bucky says, fuck it. And Cap stands in front of him and tries to stop him. And Bucky shoots the guy through Cap. So the last page is Bucky shooting Cap in the chest to kill the other guy.
Awesome.
It was a really great last page, and I really enjoyed the issue. I didn't see anything to get super mad about, but I'll be interested to talk to the guys about that one.
And then I read a trade from Kickstarter called Bearskin. I finally got. It was a horror book about this guy who wears like teddy bear skin, like a teddy bear costume. Sorry, not teddy bear skin. And starts like murdering people in this town. Come to find out they're all demons, and the demons don't affect children. So it was like a spin on like where you think this guy is like a creepy like serial killer, but he's actually trying to save the children. So it was a really cool story.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. The art is really good too.
Yeah.
Bearskin. Yeah.
But Mike, that was everything I had this week. So where can people find you on the internet? You
can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and you can find the show at FortressComics_ on Twitter, as well as FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to give us the reviews on podcatchers. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, Patreon.com/FortressComics is where you can support us as well. Thank you all so much for listening and watching this week, and we'll see you all here next week.